Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 10.
The Minnesota Department of Health is loosening restrictions at long-term care facilities. The new guidelines will allow an essential caregiver back inside to visit with loved ones. Valley News Team's Courtney Lockie talked with those working and living in these facilities who say that this is a big step forward.
At first, it seems to be all right, but as time has gone on, I think people, myself, I'm tired of being in here.
Lillian Dahl has been at Serenity Assisted Living in Dilworth, Minnesota for nearly 2 years, but she says the last few months have felt like an eternity. The state closed long-term care facilities to visitors about 4 months ago.
A lot of people that have families that would love to come in and talk to them.
Recently, the health department has allowed window and outdoor visits with limitations. Now, even better news for families. On Friday, the health department released new guidelines, allowing a designated caregiver into the building. It can be a family member, a friend, or a volunteer, and there can be more than one person per family. But before these caregivers can go back inside, they'll have to be screened for symptoms and be wearing PPE. That means people like Dahl will be reunited with their loved ones.
It's just important to have that, face-to-face interaction again, and I know they'll appreciate it. And so it is a big relief just knowing that their quality of life will be greatly improved.
The new guidance will help facilities battle the coronavirus crisis as well as the loneliness these residents are feeling. Friedrich says family members are already calling and asking how they can visit.
As much as we try to accommodate, and fill the gaps, we're not their family always. So it's just nice that they'll be returning.
They're still working on finalizing the new policy. Health officials say caregivers can be turned away if they don't follow the guidelines, and that they're prepared to pause the visitation in facilities where it may become a danger. In Minnesota, Courtney Lockie, Valley News Live.
The health department is asking providers to talk with residents to help designate a caregiver. Policies must be set in place no later than July 25th. And Moorhead police are asking for any information connected to a disturbance last night. Just after 11:30 p.m., police responded to the Casey's General Store at 1702 30th Avenue South. When officers arrived, they found a man who had non-life-threatening injuries. Police say multiple suspects and witnesses left the area before officers arrived. Anyone with information is encouraged to contact Moorhead Police at 701-451-7660. Authorities in Barnesville are looking into what caused a fire that destroyed a house overnight. It happened around 11:30 last night, and crews were working the scene until about 3 a.m. The home was unoccupied and nobody was hurt, according to the fire chief. Barnesville Fire tells Valley News Live the house is a total loss. Today is the 2-year anniversary of the disappearance of 32-year-old Brenda Cardis. On July 12, 2018, she walked away from Center Inc. in Fargo and was never seen again. Her remains were found weeks later. Fargo Police Department says they have continued investigating her case and are asking for the public's help. In a Facebook post on Sunday, they ask for anyone with information about Brenda's disappearance to contact them. Valley News Live spoke with Brenda's parents about her disappearance last week. For more information, find her story on the VNL News app. The GoFundMe page for the man killed in Otter Tail County tornado last week has reached and broken its goal by a long shot. 30-year-old Seth Nelson was killed when the EF4 tornado touched down near Dalton, Minnesota last Wednesday. Friends set up a GoFundMe for his wife and his 4 kids. Initially, the goal of the fundraiser was $10,000. 3 days later, that goal was shattered. And now over $55,000 have been raised. The money will go to help with funeral costs and other living costs for the family. To learn more about Seth and to donate, we have links on the VNL News app. The North Dakota Department of Health is reporting 92 new COVID-19 cases in the state today. 21 of those are from Cass County, another 21 from Burleigh County. There are no new deaths being reported today, keeping that death toll linked to the virus at 87. Currently in the state, there are 677 active cases, and 38 North Dakotans are in the hospital, an increase of 7 from yesterday. The Minnesota Department of Health is reporting 3 more deaths linked to COVID-19, bringing that state's total to over 1,500. Overall, the state is reporting 715 new cases today. Over 36,000 people are listed as no longer needing isolation. There are 4,197 active cases in the state. Tonight, Florida is reporting the largest increase of new COVID-19 cases of any state. Over 15,000 people testing positive in just one day. Single-day records are being broken in other states too, including North Carolina and Texas. Federal health officials are again urging all Americans to wear masks in public as the Trump administration pushes to get public schools reopened. Jennifer Johnson reports from Washington.
The U.S. has set a single-day record for new COVID-19 cases 7 of the last 12 days, and the death toll continues to rise. But federal health officials say the trend can be reversed.
We can turn this thing around in 2 to 3 weeks if we can get a critical mass of people wearing face coverings.
President Trump wore a mask for the first time in public during a visit to Walter Reed Military Medical Center late Saturday, after months of backlash for not wearing one. The president and his team are now pushing children to put on masks and get back to school in just a few weeks.
There is nothing in the data that would suggest that kids being back in school is dangerous to them, and in fact, it's more a matter of their health and well-being that they be back in school.
But COVID-19 cases have rapidly spread in Texas daycare centers and some summer camps.
We also want to do it and make sure that our kids are going to be as safe as possible. So we're not going to be rushed into this.
School districts and hotspots are scrambling to come up with plans, some considering hybrid learning, remotely and in the classroom.
We're going to obviously do our very best in our community, considering where the health data currently is. A positivity rate of 29.1%. A month ago, it was at 6%.
Many in education feel reopening schools is a balance between a child's mental and physical health. School leaders now need to find the safest path in this new chapter of learning.
A group called Reopen Minnesota Schools held a rally at the state capitol in St. Paul today as calls continue in Minnesota to get students back in the classroom. Governor Tim Walz is expected to announce guidance this week for the state's schools. Last week, the Minnesota Department of Education released results of a survey taken by 130,000 Minnesota parents. 64% are comfortable sending their students to school in the fall. 12% are not, and almost a quarter are still unsure. The Food and Drug Administration is asking for those who have recently recovered from COVID-19 to consider donating plasma for research. According to the FDA, those who have recovered from the virus now have COVID-19 antibodies, which are found in what's known as convalescent plasma. While there's no approved treatment for the disease, research suggests those antibodies may help those currently infected. Local blood donation center Vitalant is testing those who donate and ask those that test positive to also consider donating plasma.
It is being run as one of our standard panel of tests right now. So when you donate blood, the first thing we do is take a couple little vials and then we send those off for testing.
Those who donate receive their test results back in 2 to 3 weeks. People who have not come in contact with COVID-19 are still encouraged to donate blood. The National Weather Service says this tornado that touched down near Rolog, Minnesota yesterday afternoon has officially been categorized as an EF1 with estimated peak winds of 95 miles an hour and a path of 1.5 miles. The tornado took the roof of a barn built in the early 1900s and several other roofing panels on other farm buildings. There were no reported injuries to